And so I chose to share poems in about Spain to celebrate yeah the fact that I'm Spanish for 14 years. I repeat because it wasn't yet recording. So so I won't read poems written with the Slam Message Service, but there will be two or three written for the podcast, Mange tes mots. So you can find them on my YouTube channel in French. Then I'll begin by reading the English versions. Then I read the Spanish version. So so just remember the first one, or you won't understand anything after, except if you speak Spanish. So let's begin. This one is not online. It's yeah, first reading online. First, one day it will be a podcast, but not yet. So let's discover it. I wrote it for the birthday of a bar in Paris named the Loup Pascalou, where Mange tes mots is also a cabaret each month. So it was for the birthday. A Sunday afternoon in spring with a slate gray sky, sheltered in a bar, I followed the long slide of a drop down my bottom. I've always loved playing with mist and raindrops on the train, watching them chase each other, wait for each other, clump together, then suddenly start moving again, disappearing from my field of vision. She hesitated, as if suspended. Can I help you? No, wait a little longer. I'll gather myself, she replied. Outside, the curtain of rain over Paris had fallen. Psh. It takes me a while to recognize the bar. The room is bathed in half-light. Long wooden benches and tables have replaced bistro chairs and tables. Behind the counter, in a basket, bags of quicos and pipas. The dispenser of small paper napkins, which slide over the fat of the chips more than they wipe them off. The closed shutters, all signs that I'm somewhere else. Heavy steam envelops us. Earth, sidewalk tiles, plants. The street sighs with ease. The bar awakens from its torpor. Its sense of tannin and fried food join the petrichor. I step out. A fresh breeze carries the good news that the rain is coming. I don't need a sign to know where I am. Opposite up the street, behind the houses, runs a fountain with two rectangular basins like stone through. Sitting on its edge, I soaked my tired feet in its cold water. I remember. In the sky all around, white on midnight blue, gray on blue pink, big cloudy puffs float in time. So now we are in Spain. And let's go on with this one on El Camino. I am a walking tree. The waking dreams carry me away. I put my steps in mine, and I followed the shells on a night background. The very small one sublimates the landscape. Ants which dig their mini canyons in the earth of the path. Tiny frogs which spread out in a leaping wave as the shoes pass. There, a bumblebee gathers clovers with its greedy tumbling. The pebbles, big or small, awaken the goat dance. I jump, swinging the weight of the bag from one foot to the other. The natives are still sleeping, while I walk up and down, already, so early, so late. The sun is up, and the night is still there. I walk away from the city, from life, in this in-between where dreams are born. The standing pebbles reconnect the balls to the earth. I walk, and sleep emerges. I collapse, emptied, or filled with sleep. The tree is sovereign. I am this ant, which with my small legs digs my furrow. I mark my way with the grace of words, simple words that swarm, simple, like these monks' herbs, simple like smiles, the bottom of a packet of potato chips, simple, a pinch of salt. I embrace the tree and its shade, chapel of greenery, a heaven of freshness at the turn of the road. I lower my eyes to the sky. I am a tree that walks, my head towards the earth, my feet in the stars. I feel the two worlds that palpitate. It is not the sun that I have come to seek. So now we are in Spain, very hot weather. So let's teach you how to use a fan. To begin with, choose your fan carefully. Avoid decorative giants. No need to hurt yourself. Whether it's made of plastic or painted wood, this is a painted wood one. The important thing is that it has a few holes as possible. This one has no one. The fewer hole, the more wind. Better an ugly one that blows than a beautiful one that tires for nothing. Open and close it several times. It has to flow. This one is okay. If it gets stuck, give it to a Spanish grandmother. She'll know how to do it. Once done, grab the right hand part if you're right-handed, left-handed if you're left-handed, but in this case with a suitable fan. Unfold it with a jerk, as if draining a spoon, pitching it between thumb and forefinger, with the other fingers behind in support, pressing it against the mount of Venus. This one. Start a sort of butterfly wing dance with the abanico. This is an abanico. Like that. If you have a chest, preferably a full one, mime the arrival of the bat in the glass door. I don't know why, but it's a fact. Fanning yourself is done by tapping your breasts. To dust off the cleavage, to chase away bad moods the way others whip themselves. Seduction ritual like tap, tap, tap. Did you hear how my breast sounds? If that was it, that would mean my grandmother was a flirtatious seductress. There must be another explanation. Another possibility, the percussive side, Valencian women like to dance, if not castagnettes. A fan, not bad. which would explain why they regularly close and reopen the object, like that, and reopen, making a lot of noise. Once closed, you can also use it to hit someone who's getting on your nerves when on edge, so as not to damage it. If you're going to be fanning yourself for a long time, several days at a time, make sure you respect the movement. The forearm pivots with the elbow resting on the chest. The thumb impels the rotary movement rather like a slap on the bass. When I say it has to do with rhythm, round things off, punctuate with a few idiomatic. Que calor! It's a way of getting in touch with the locals. If the person is a local, he or she will respond with, Ay, sí, madre mía, qué calor. So, let's go on. This one, this one is about la retirada. It means, well, a part of a Spanish escaping from the dictatorship of the first Generalissimo Franco. Let's read it. Nested petticoats. In her undershirt, she sewed a little pocket. In this little pocket, she slipped the smallest doll, the one that doesn't open. Over this undershirt, she slipped on a petticoat, and over the petticoat, over the undershirt, she slipped on another petticoat, and over this petticoat, over the petticoat, over the undershirt, she pulled on a skirt, and over the skirt, on the petticoat, on the petticoat, on the undershirt, she pulled on a corset and laced it up. And over the laced corset and the skirt, over the petticoat, over the petticoat, over the undershirt, she put on an apron, she waistband of which she carefully tied. And over the apron, with the knotted belt, over the laced corset and the skirt, over the petticoat, over the undershirt, she wrapped a large open-work woolen shawl around her shoulders. In her apron pocket, she slipped her small pair of sewing scissors, and crochet hook, and nails, and hammer. They can come in handy. She also took a paintbrush and pencils and the knife to sharpen them. A leather satchel would have been useful, but let's say no luggage. She sewed plenty of pockets into each petticoat, and into each one she slipped a treasure. There, a photo. Here, an embroidered handkerchief. And in this other one, a poem. And in this one, a comb to detangle hair. Then she started dancing, and all her hardware began to rattle. And bizarrely, she looks like a woman, but in her heart lies a child dreaming of what it will be like when she's a woman. At the end of the road, at the end of the dirt road, she'll make a frame with 4 pieces of wood, and then her nails and hammer. She'll take off one of her petticoats, she'll cut a canvas with her scissors, and paint her new-found happiness to help it last. So this one was a poem for the podcast Mange tes mots. And this one too. mixed between English and Spanish, but in the original version, the Spanish parts. Oh fuck! This is not the good version. Just wait a minute. This is the full English version. I've made a mistake. Let's find the version with the Spanish part. This one. So I won't translate the Spanish part because it was written in French and Spanish without any translation. My heart is an old encrypted Bible, encrypted in a language no one speaks anymore, translated into several regional languages from the four corners of Europe, interwoven with one another. And I don't speak any of them. No sé dónde se han escondidas las palabras. Seguro que han desaparecido. Lo siento por dentro. Alguien lo ha escrito. Cuando algo existe, existe la palabra para decirlo. I give the change. I have no idea where it's going or where I really am. It's not a question of where, when, or how. Once upon a time, the truths of love as I live them, I have no idea. Así, exploro mi silencio, tan tranquilo y profundo. Eso es. A su contacto, palabras desaparecen, absorbidas, o cambian de formas como nubes. Ese silencio no existe en el mundo real, sino adentro, entre las palabras, entre las notas de música. I can't put it into words, but I know it exists. Rasco suavemente la tierra que cubre las raíces para descubrirlas y curarlas de todo ese dolor y temores retenidos, generación tras generación, hasta que para ciertas personas se conviertan en piedras. When I say I love you, I feel like I'm lying. The words are so foreign to what I feel deep down. The letters unravel and melt. The sounds melt into a beat. Dejo que fluyan las lágrimas, deshaciendo las piedras antes que se formen. Agua de vida, para que la savia vuelva a subir a las ramas y alimente las frutas. Ya ver, un día, si encuentro palabras para enviar a los que amo, a mi familia, una tarjeta de Navidad llena de ternura y amor, tan como las que recibía de pequeña de parte de mi tío. So, now let's go on with Spanish version. This is the Spanish version of the nested petticoats. En aguas anidadas. En su camiseta ha cosido un pequeño bolsillo y en este pequeño bolsillo deslizó la muñeca más pequeña, la que no se abre. Sobre esta enagua deslizó una enagua y sobre esta enagua, sobre la camiseta interior, se puso otra enagua. Y sobre esta enagua, sobre la enagua, sobre la camisa se puso una falda. Y sobre la falda, sobre la enagua, sobre la enagua, sobre la camisa se puso una blusa que se ató. Y sobre el corpiño de cordones y la falda sobre la enagua, sobre la enagua, sobre la camisa, se puso un delantal cuya cintura ató cuidadosamente. Y sobre el delantal con el cinturón anudado, sobre el corpiño, sobre la blusa y la falda, sobre la enagua, sobre la enagua, sobre la enagua, se envolvió los hombros con un gran pañuelo. En el bolsillo de su delantal deslizó su pequeño par de tijeras de coser y su aguja de ganchillo y clavos y un martillo. Podrían ser útiles. También cogió un pincel y lápices y el cuchillo para afilarlos. Una cartera de cuero habría sido útil, pero habían dicho que nada de equipaje. Cosió muchos bolsillos en cada enagua y en cada uno de ellos metió un tesoro. Aquí una foto, aquí un pañuelo bordado, en este un poema y en este un peine para desenredarse el pelo. Y entonces empezó a bailar y toda su ferretería empezó a traquetear, a crujir extrañamente. Parece una mujer, pero en su corazón yace una niña soñando. ¿Cómo será? ¿Cómo será cuando se convierta en mujer? Al final del camino, al final del camino de tierra, hará un marco con 4 trozos de madera y con sus clavos y su martillo se quitará una de sus enaguas, recortará un lienzo con sus tijeras y pintará su nueva felicidad para que dure. And then the Spanish version of The Walking Tree, um, which is also a poem I wrote for the podcast Mortemu. Soy un árbol que camina. Los sueños despiertos me arrebatan. Vale, recomience. Los sueños despiertos me arrebatan. He puesto mis pasos en los míos y seguí las conchas sobre fondo de noche. El pequeño sublima el paisaje. Hormigas que cavan sus mini cañones en la tierra del camino. Pequeñas ranas que se alejan en una onda que salta al paso de los zapatos. Allí, un abejorro bota tréboles de su temblor codicioso. Las piedras, grandes o pequeñas, despiertan el baile caprino. Salto, balanceando el peso de la bolsa de un pie sobre el otro. Los nativos aún están durmiendo, mientras camino por montes y valles. Ya, tan pronto, tan tarde. El sol ha salido y la noche sigue aquí. Camino lejos de la ciudad, lejos de la vida, en el intermedio donde nacen los sueños. Los cantos rodados reconectan las bóvedas a la tierra. Estoy caminando y el sueño emerge. Me derrumbo, desangrada aún, llena de sueño. El árbol es soberano. Soy esa hormiga que con mis patitas cavo mi surco, marco mi camino a la gracia de las palabras simples que dispersan, simples como las hierbas de los monjes, simples como las sonrisas. Un fondo de paquete de patatas fritas, simples, una pizca de sal. Abrazo el árbol y su sombra, capilla verde, remanso de frescura a la vuelta del camino. Bajo los ojos al cielo. Soy un árbol que camina, la cabeza hacia la tierra, los pies en las estrellas. Siento los dos mundos que palpitan. no es el sol lo que vine a buscar. And that's it.
Brava, wonderful. Oh my word, how grand and sweet. Let me turn this off. Carolyn, what a lovely reading. I guess I'll turn the recording off after we're done applauding you. Um, I love this walking tree poem, and it was glorious to hear it, for example, in Spanish, where it has this mellifluous, sensuous quality, and the kind of the deliciousness of the language. It was glorious, and the way you started out, even in the English, but you've said walking tree, and then you say a waking dream carried me away. It's such a brilliant poem. Uh, you have also this really funny um, petticoat over the petticoat over the undershirt. That poem is delightful, and the way that you pull it off with such specific, um, precise language um, makes it even more absurd as it goes on. And then the best thing to me was uh, she looks like a woman, but inside her is a child wondering what it's like to be a woman. And what a great statement there, just psychologically. And you know, I feel like a little kid a lot of the times. Most of the time, I feel maybe 19 years old or something. And so then I start wondering, like, I wonder if people look at me like they look at my dad, like, who's that old dude? But I don't feel that way at all. I'm still wondering what it means to grow up. um, this glorious Spanish line, Las noches de música. I can just feel that night and the way the darkness of night merges with the sound of the music. And I love your offhand comments like, that must mean my grandmother was a seductress. There are
Maybe.
lots of,
Not
layers
possible.
of social meaning and linguistic play, and depth, of course, absolutely. But you kind of gave us the whole gamut, the whole palette, the whole fan. And okay, I'll be quiet. If anyone else would
It's
like to,
about the poem about the petticoats. I wrote it in a funny way, but it was inspired by real facts. She escaped my grandma escaped the dictatorship, and she was 14 years old, or 15. She was not yet a woman, and she didn't she left anything she didn't wear on her. She just passed the frontier with her clothes. The luggage stayed um, outside the the truck.
right?
They found places on the truck because there was so many little children in the family, and they were very lucky. They had to leave anything except the coats and the all the real everything she can wear, she wear it. And
Wow,
so that's funny, but also historically just not with the treasures in the. Of course, she didn't had the time to make them, but um, well, it was a
brilliant.
repairing poem.
Wow, wow, absolutely great. Um, Anyone else want to just applause or say a word or a bunch of words
Well,
in a string?
Coming from? Where was she escaping from?
From the dictatorship in Spain in
Oh,
39.
now what is the word sueña? Is it Catalan word? Sueña? I had a friend who was a monk, but he was from Catalan. He was in the war too. But he said there's a word that you can't say it in any other language. It means, love or something. Sueña, la sueña. I don't know. Anyway, that's enough.
It's oh is it Spanish or is it a word from Portugal? They have something. Oh,
It was
I can
Catalan.
find the word. Uh, um,
Don't take up time. I just wondered.
El
Yeah,
sueño is its dream.
I was dreaming now. It was another one. Sounds like that though. Anyway, your recitation was as beautiful as your words.
Hmm.
Your What I loved about everything you said is I felt there was gratitude in it. Appreciated things, even the way that you helped us to understand how to use the fan, which is very important, like these little, mannerisms and things that we use that are passed on. And I also felt, I don't know if this is what you were trying to say, but when you were talking about the different languages and you don't really fit into any of them, I think you were expressing something more than the languages, this idea of universalism or globalism. But anyway, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely exquisite. Thank you.
Thank you.
As a person that writes in Spanish and English, I really like what you do. I really suggest that folks who write in more than one language learn how to translate your own stuff, because when people translate words, they do not get what you're saying. You're translating intent, and you do that. And so I'm very grateful for that, because it drives me crazy when I hear these self-appointed messiahs of other languages that translate words, and it has absolutely nothing to do with what you're trying to say. And so I'm very grateful that you translate the intent, and it makes me feel good, because it just drives me crazy. I refuse to let anybody translate my poems, because I've seen some horrible things happen with it anyway. But thank you. I love your work, and I love your passion.
Thank you very much. Coming from you, it touched me deeply because I love your poems too, and your yeah the way you write in English and Spanish, expressing not the same thing, but there are some things we can't translate. They have to be said in Spanish because the emotion is in Spanish and not in English nor in French.
Well, English has no emotional tenses. That's why you have to do it. It's like duende. There is no way to say that in English.
Duende.
Maybe that's the word. What does that mean, duende?
Yeah. As I say, there's no way to translate it in English. Like
What comes close to describing what that means?
what's an ecstatic? Okay. Duende is when I'm playing music, like I have a gig with the band, and we sort of melt into each other, and we lose consciousness of time and whatever, and all we become is what we're doing. It's
Word. It's the
yeah.
word.
I don't know. Anyway, it's an ecstasy. It's I don't know. Maybe you can do a better Carolina than me, but there is no translation.
Oh no, that
Wow.
I think the word. And my friend said just that. He was Spanish from Catalan. He said, you can't translate that word. We were talking about poetry, and I have friends who are poets who say only a poet can translate a poet, and a poet that knows,
Hmm.
Yes, we'll see.
yeah.
All right. Anyone want to say another word before we go on?
Just thank you, Caroline. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Mm.
Muchas gracias.
Wow. Okay. Thanks so much. Very deeply moving and enlightening and enlivening. Uh, Wonderful.